Hello good lifers, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nikki and today I am going to be trying to sort out a solar irrigation system for my polytunnel. So I hope you can join me. So I got this kit on AliExpress, and as you can see it comes with some tubing, which is always useful, various adapter thingies, we shall have a look at them in a second. It comes with a power lead and it comes with this solar panel here. In all honesty, this solar panel, if you can see here, I think it's going to be a bit rubbish. It's a bit flimsy, as you can kind of hear. So it's a bit plasticky, but I think it'll be alright. We'll see how it goes. It only really needs to trickle charge the battery. You can see it here. This is what we've got. There we go. So the water comes into one of these, out of one of these. I'll figure out which one's which in a minute. And you can program it using the bits and pieces up here. But this whole unit, as you can see, is a battery. And this is, of course, where the solar panel goes. This bit needs to stay dry. There we go, over there. This is not actually my first time using an irrigation kit. I have an irrigation system set up in our little garden at home, which G lovingly refers to as my irritation system because I get so excited about trying to get it to work. But what I want to do this time is be able to set up this irrigation system so that it can run like once or twice a day, every day, and water all of the plants inside the polytunnel. The problem both me and G have is that we both have full-time jobs. I've got like 4 different jobs because I'm a freelancer. So we don't actually have time to come up here every single day and water all of the plants. And as you can see, we're beginning to get lots and lots of little seedlings popping up. Today is like the first day of what I would call probably real spring, to be honest. It's actually sunny for the first time ever. So it's rapidly going to be that we need to start watering pretty regularly. So if I can get this system set up, I know that it's going to water the seedlings every day. I don't have to worry about it too much, and we'll just come back as and when we can and do all the other bits and pieces. So let's see if we can get it all set up. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not actually going to worry about doing the solar panel today, only because we are intending to put a guttering system on the side of the polytunnel. So I haven't actually got the bits to attach the solar panel to yet, which I will get to hopefully next weekend, the weekend after at some point. We're very busy. So I'm going to leave the solar panel for the minute. I'm just going to put that back in the box. But this has been fully charged because what happens is the solar panel charges it here, but I can also charge it via USB. This is a USB cable for it. So, and it's the same end as you can see for the solar panel. So I'll leave that in the box as well. Just pop them under there so I've got a little more room. So what we've got, just move my table over, is we need to make sure that I've got a sprinkler or a drip system going on each and every one of my trays. I use old meat trays as my growing seed beds, so it just makes it easier when you're growing seedlings, and I've always got them around. So in the bag I've got these little drip systems, you can see them here. So they should drip out, and you can do them up to try and show you slightly better here. So you've got a little dripper on here, and then you can undo them. It's really hard to show you. You should be able to undo them like that and do them up, and then there you go, it's nice and loose now. So that undoes like that. So what happens is the looser you have it, the more water comes out. The tighter you have it, the less water comes out, and then eventually, if you tighten it all the way up, no water comes out. So these are pretty good. I've got I don't know how many of these I've got. I'll find that out and stick it in the description or somewhere on the video. I've also got these with me. These are what they call T-barbs for irrigation system, so you can see that here. And what you do is you pop the tube in the end like that, and the tube in the other end, and then this is kind of like another feed that comes off a bit. So I've got quite a few of them. Let's just see what I've actually got in this box. So I've got 2 reels of tubing. I don't know how much is there, but I've got plenty more. I've got these, which I'll show them again. These little spike things, so these go into the seed tray, and then you can clip the tube into there like that, and then you pop the dripper on the end like that. So I'm going to show you that in a second. So we've got a few of those, and we've got a few of our barbs as well. But what else have we got in the bag? Let's find out. I've got some other bits and pieces that I'm going to add to this system as well from my bits and pieces at home, because you can never have too much irrigation system. Every time I say that, I can hear G saying irrigation system, because I drive him mad talking about it. You can get really into irrigation systems, you know. So yeah, what I've got here is just a load of barbs. They're just the bog standard T barbs, and then what I've also got is this. You can see that there. This is our filter that goes into the water. I'm going to show you how I'm going to set that up as well. Good, so let's see what we can do seedling wise, see how much I've actually got to set up. I find it's probably easier to set up all of the trays first and then set up going into the water system second. I've actually got a second pump, this one here. I've had this one for ages. I think it's about £13 or something on AliExpress, Amazon, eBay, wherever you're going to get it. I'll stick a little link in the description for you. This is really good. This one's worked really well in my other greenhouse. Again, the battery lasts about 3 months, so as much as I'm trying to get a solar system in so I don't have to recharge it, bringing a battery pack up while I'm working on the allotment and charging this up for a few hours, because it's a micro USB, this one here. You can see it, there we go, it's a micro USB. So yeah, bringing a battery pack up and charge it up for a few hours is not much hardship. At the moment, I've got 2 shelving units for seedlings, so I'm going to make sure that I've got 1 pump for each, and you need to have the pump higher than the water, otherwise it ends up like a bit of a siphon. So looking at it, my water's actually going to be slightly higher than a few of my trays, so I'm going to put up another shelving unit as well. Hopefully I should be okay. So let's get on with all of that, and hopefully we can come back and start setting this system up. So I've got loads of extra bits in here. I've got some other barbs here. I've got, these are end caps, so you can see that on here. This is a bit of pipe that's got an end cap on it. We use that for just kind of closing stuff off. Behind me I have, these are another type of dripper. They're kind of like a sprayer sprinkler. I'm not going to use that one in here. Loads of hose ends. That's also another type of kind of sprayer sprinkler. These go on, same as the blue ones you just saw a second ago. These go on the end of tubes, or so if I've got my little bit of tube here, you pop that on the end and then it sprays up like that. You can see that. One of them does like 180 degrees, one of them does 90 degrees. I can't remember which is which. I think these ones are the 180, the green ones. These are atomizers, so they attach the same as these sprinklers I just showed you here. So you've got your atomizer and you've got your little bit on the end there. So you can see that little twiddly bit on the end there, that goes into the pipe, and that's where the water comes out. So these kind of more of a fine mister. Again, I'm not going to use these in here, but I will use them elsewhere in the allotment. And these are just shed loads of drippers. So these are pretty much the same as these, just a slightly different variety. So I've got loads. What I have done with my old pump, so this one requires a really specific bit of tubing for the in and the out, which is really annoying. So I've actually had to join it together with a joining barb. It's not the world's best join, but I'm hoping it'll work. So I'm just going to pop that on my tray there. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Don't worry, you're not going to miss out on anything. So what I'm going to do first, oh, and one more thing I have dropped, and these are super useful. I've got loads of these. These go on the end of a tube. So your tube, where's that bit tube there? Goes here like that. Fits on nicely, although having said that, it's probably not the world's greatest fit in all honesty. But this goes on the end of a tube like that, and then actually drips out of this. You can just see it, there's a hole in there. There you go. and then the water drips out into this. I actually want to use these in my plants, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. Only because this tubing that I have here, I think it's going to be, it needs to be a decent fit, but I think that is not a decent fit. So I might actually need to get slightly smaller tubing, which is a pain in the backside if that's true, because I've got quite a lot of these that I wanted to use. But that's okay, because in the meantime, so I think you're going to scratch those for a second and figure that out later. But in the meantime, I'm going to count up how many seed trays I've actually got. As you can see, I've got loads here. And I've also got loads here as well. You can just see it. I'm going to count up how many seed trays I've got and then make sure that I've got one dripper for each tray. What I'm going to do is just try and press it centrally, and then hopefully the water will kind of permeate out as we go. So let's do that now. We have 42. So let's see how many drippers we have. Let's try and use up them ones first. 1, 2, 24. That's 40. Sorted. I have also got one of these, which again, these are the little drippers that I showed you earlier. It's just a blue version of it. You can actually see this tubing's a lot thinner, so that's probably where I'm going to go wrong with that one. But that's alright, we can figure that out later. So normally I would want to use these as well, but as I haven't got any skinny tubing, these will have to wait. We'll have to sort them out during the summer. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do now is figure out, I've got some old tubing. This stuff I've had for ages, so I don't want to go using the new tubing if I don't need to. Because I've got plenty of uses for it, trust me. There's a lot of irrigation system going to be happening, which is going to make G really happy, I can tell. Okay, so those are bits of tubing here, which is actually okay, because we'll use all the bits. Another bit there. Try up on the end of it now. Right, I think we're at the end of it. So I've actually already got a piece of tubing that has some drippers on it. So you can see I've already popped a dripper on here. So this is 3 ready to go. So what I'm going to do is just going to pop them over here, 2, 3. Great, marvellous. So you can see that I've got one here already. So I want to put another one in here, and I've got one here, and I want to put another one in here. And this has already got a barb going off of it, so I can use this to go down to the next level here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that level of plants off of there, so we're not going to actually worry about them for the minute. So I just need barbs for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trays there. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. So of course there's no tubing in there yet. That's okay. So I need another one for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, that was lucky. Nice. So I found 3 bits of tubing that I've obviously used before. What I want to do with these bits is actually see what size they are and see if they would be better fitted to elsewhere in the beds. Because the thing is, we've got them cut already, so we want to try and use them as is if possible. If we can't use them, it's not a problem, but it's nice to be able to use the bits we've already cut. So here we go. So you can see I've laid them all out there. Now I'm just going to try and sort out the other bed, and then hopefully we can start doing some cutting. Okay, so I've got my bit of tube in here, which is quite cool. This is the one that was along the back of the shelving unit. You can see that I've marked with the tube clips here where I want to cut. So I've got one mark there and one mark there. What I want to do is make another one of these barbs you can see here coming off. So let's do that now. Pop that on here, so I'll unclip that one. And then I'm just going to use my knife here to make a cut there. I did completely forget to bring my scissors with me today, So unfortunately I've got to do it with my knife, which is a bit of a pain, but not too much of a problem. Let's pop them back in there, otherwise I end up losing them. So I've got another marker here. It doesn't really, to be honest, need to be very exact, but it just makes it a little bit easier. Good, and then I'm just going to get another bit of tubing. I've got a bit of tubing here, where's the end of it? So I want to get 2 small, like sort of 1-inch pieces of tubing off of this as well, so that I can attach the barbs to it. So 1 there. And 1 there. Again, does not need to be accurate at all, but about 1 inch will do it. Apparently I need to sharpen my knife up. I'll do that when I get home. Right, okay. So into these sections, I need to add a barb. So we want to add one of these barbs here. So as you can see with the bit we've already done here, it's got the barb at the bottom and then a little bit of tubing and then the sprinkler at the top, or the dripper at the top, which is exactly what I want to do with these 2 1-inch pieces. So you will find, if you are trying to do this yourself, that this tubing is actually really tricky. You can kind of shove it on like that, but it doesn't really work very well. So the best thing I've found to do is actually have some hot water, dip the end of the tube into your hot water, and then it warms it up a little bit and makes it a bit easier. So I'm going to do that now. So I brought my little camping stove with me. Safety first, always pop it on a stand. And I'll pop some water in here. I'm just going to heat the water up. It does not need to be super hot at all. Just enough for it to be nice and warm. I can always warm it up a little bit more in a bit. So I don't want to use all of it because this is going to be a cup of tea for me in a minute, because I'm British and we run on tea. So let's just... There you go, you can just see that going now. I love the sound of a camping stove. This really doesn't take very long to warm up at all. It's super quick. You don't need it boiling either. You literally just need warm water. So there we go, we can see it bubbling in there, and that is really as warm as we need it. I'm going to now turn the gas off so that we're not wasting it really. Okay, so this is nice and simple, and show you, ow, it's also really hot, so do be careful. I'm going to show you in this camera. All you're going to do is grab the end of your tubing and then pop it in the water, like a few seconds, it doesn't really matter how long, and then literally you're going to be able to pop that tubing on there much easier because it's warmer. Get on there, good. So I'll show you here. Going to warm the tubing up in the cup, nice and simple. So it should be nice and warm, and then just shove that barb on the end of the tubing. There we go, because it's warm. You can see it actually goes on there a lot easier. If you did this with cold tubing, it'd be super difficult. So I'm going to get the rest of my tubing done, and then hopefully we will be able to do this nicely. Okay, so I've now got my 2 new barbs on the end there, as you can see, nicely fitted in. They're all squished on there, that one's nicely squished on there like that. So I've now got my first piece of pump to go on the side. So I'm going to pop this bit of tubing round behind you where you are at the moment, where all the seedlings are, and that's our first one. So I will get the rest of them done, and then we can come back together and look at hooking it all up. Okay, so you can see here that I've hooked up the first few. I've used a couple of clips just to keep these standing up a bit better. I'm just going to move that around, bear me a second. So just keep these standing up a bit. I'm not too worried if they're down in the plants, but it just gives it a little bit of space underneath. So it's got a bit of space here. I've used a mixture of these. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. They're going to do exactly the same thing. Might move that one just up a little bit. And then we've got one on here. I've used a clip on here. I've also done the bottom, the next row down as well. So each of these has got a dripper in it. Now, as you can see, the water is coming down here. This is my little pump, like the first pump that I had. I'm going to leave that one here for the minute. And I've put the water down in here, in a little box here. Now, my theory for this is the fact that this is, I think, a 32 litre box. It's one of the bog standard under the bed storage boxes. But my theory being for this is that if I can pop the water in here, then it's a nice big area. It's also lower than this run and this run on my plants, which is exactly what I wanted. So hopefully that means that it will be able to work a little bit better with the pump. So I'm going to fill up this box here with water, and then we'll see how it goes. So I've got my water inlet tube. This is this one here. That one is dangling into water. Got a bit of a bark in the water. We'll check that out. And then I'm going to make sure that these are working. So what I'm going to do is pop on the timer, and I'm going to do it for 30 seconds, just so that gives me plenty of time to make sure that all of the drippers are actually working. There we go. We can hear it working now. So I want to start opening some of these drippers. So as you can see, it is working nicely. These drippers seem to be a lot better than these drippers. These ones, this is as slow as it will go. And to be honest, that's way too fast. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace all of these black ones here with the red ones. There's a few red ones you can see here. That one's as slow as it's going to go. And it's just way too fast. It's going to end up drowning my poor plants. But otherwise, if I just zoom back a bit, you can see that it's actually working really, really well. I'm very pleased with it. So the timer is going again. I've got a couple that I've just put on that are way too. So this one, as you can see, is like a full-on sprinkler. So what I'm going to do is I just want to turn that right down so it's a dripper. And then hopefully it should drip out enough water for each of the plants. I've got a little bit of adjustments to do, like that one isn't giving out anything at the moment. This one's perfect though. You can just see it's just dripping in a little bit there. This one is flooding my cucumbers. Poor cucumbers. I've just switched them over because the other one flooded them. Yeah, I'll go in that one instead. So there we go. Just gonna, at least everything's getting a thorough water in today while I figure it out. So that was it. That was us putting together the irrigation system for a polytunnel. It's going to be great, the fact that it's going to work automatically. I'm going to get going now because it's a little bit chilly. I'm losing the light. I'm definitely feeling it getting a bit chillier now. So I'm going to close up my polytunnel, keep it nice and warm, and then hopefully when I come back here I shall have even more seedlings, which I'm really excited about. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like what you see, please consider hitting the like button, maybe pop in a comment down below seeing what you think, and if you really like it, maybe you can hit subscribe. That'd be really cool. We would love to see you again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.